In this video, I wanted to address 5 things that I wish I knew before moving to New York City, and this is gonna be part 1. Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. My name is Joy, and if you are new, I help millennials build wealth so they can live life on their terms in New York City. Consider subscribing if you're interested in New York type of content. I make videos every Tuesday and Friday. Now, you probably clicked on this video because you are thinking about moving to New York City. I mean, I can't blame you because now that the lockdown is lifted, New York City is going to be fully opened as of July 1st, and starting, I think, May 17th, there is going to be no more ban on terms of masks outside, and indoor bars and stuff will be able to be open on May 31st, so that's super exciting. You guys have probably found on this video because you watched my last video on what I wish I knew before moving to New York City at 28, and today is actually my New York anniversary of 2 years, so I'm super excited and also pretty emotional because this entire journey has been not only really hard but also very fulfilling at the same time. I'll share that in another video, but in this video I wanted to address 5 things that I wish I knew before moving to New York City, and this is gonna be part 1. So if you guys follow me on TikTok, I made a TikTok on 5 things I wish I knew before moving to New York City, and I have a series going on TikTok. One of the videos, part 2, actually got a lot of controversy, and with TikTok you only have 60 seconds to really say what you want to say, so I figured I would explain more on here. If you guys don't know what my TikTok here is, I'll put it over here so you guys can check it out when you get out of this video. But the first one that we talked about was that a lot of girls here are actually sugar babies. So I want to address that. I'm not saying that everyone in New York City is obviously a sugar baby, but when I moved to New York City, I moved here because I had dreams of like running my own business and building my career, and the reason why I wanted to move to New York is because I wanted to meet other like-minded people that had the same goals, and I felt like New York was a place where a lot of people would go to, I don't know, like pursue a career in fashion or go up the corporate ladder, or like if they had a business idea, they'd go out and execute it. So you are basically the 5 people that you surround yourself with, is what I've always been told. And so I really wanted to move here just to like be around all those type of people. Anyways, so to my disappointment, I guess like maybe like I just like didn't meet the right type of people. A lot of people in the comments were like, you just like hung out in the wrong circles. It's not like I was like trying to hang out with that type of circle. I don't know, like maybe like I was just manifesting it. But my roommate at the time would have like guys pay for like everything for her in terms of like rent, and like her dude like bought us a TV or just like random stuff throughout the household. And I have no problem with getting free stuff. Like if you guys want to send me free stuff, please do. You guys can DM me and send me free stuff. But yeah, like in terms of like just hanging out with men particularly just to get free stuff, that was just kind of like, ooh, I don't know if that's like something I really want to be around. And it wasn't just like her, it was like other girls as well that I was meeting, either like just in friend circles or like just through like work. I would meet girls who were like very dependent on other men, and I'm not judging. Like if you want to do that, go ahead, kudos to you. It's just I didn't want to be around people like that, if that makes sense. And I get it, like New York City is a really tough city, it's really expensive. So if you need an old guy to like pay for your stuff, then I'm not gonna judge. But it's a little weird. It's a little weird. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and it is really common. Like I know there's like sites and stuff where like people can go like on Seeking Arrangement and go on dates, and like people pay you to go on dates. I mean, great. Like if you're young and you can rock it and you can get free stuff, like I guess like maybe I'm a hater. I don't know. But that was my comment on number 2. Okay, you're going to need to know what a guarantor is. Okay, so when you move to New York City, you need to make, I believe, like 20 times or something like crazy the amount of your rent. So most people, when they graduate college, or I don't even want to generalize college people, most people when they're starting out their lives aren't able to have a job that is going to pay 20 times the amount of the rent that they need to have. So it's really common in New York apartments when you're applying as a renter, if you cannot fulfill like 20 times the amount of what you're paying, then you need to have a guarantor. So let's talk about, like, let's say your rent is $1,600 or $1,700. That was really common pre-Panorama for renting a room. Now it's definitely going to be lower than that. But let's say that was what you're going for. If you have a job that pays you a 60 or 70K salary, you would not be able to even get through. You would still need to get a guarantor. So a guarantor is basically someone to co-sign your apartment. Like in California, where I'm from, I know a couple of you guys follow me from California. It's called a co-signer, which is really common. Here we call it a guarantor in New York City. When I got this apartment, the apartment I live in right now is a studio, so I live alone. And my landlord at the time had asked me for all of my financial paperwork and all that stuff. I had actually been unemployed for a couple months, voluntarily and non-voluntarily. So I obviously didn't have 2 pay stubs that I could show them. But what I did have was my stock portfolio. If you guys followed this channel, this used to be like kind of a finance channel. So I was able to show my statements with my Fidelity account. I also showed him my 401k, which I don't know why I did that because it's not like I can take it out before I'm like 56. But I also showed him my offer letter because when I applied for this apartment, it was right when I got an offer letter for a job. Yay, doing big things, thank you. So with that, I was able to get my offer through. And so if you guys are thinking about moving to New York City and you're kind of just starting things out, basically you just need to get your parents to co-sign, guarantor your apartment. If you don't have someone that can guarantor for you that is your parent, I've had some of you DM me saying that. I've heard actually through Kelly Stamps, who's another huge YouTuber that used to live in New York City. She talked about her renting experience and how it was hard for her to get approved because she's self-employed. So she actually had really nice friends, like I don't know if my friends are this nice, that decided they would co-sign for her because they knew that she had the financials to be able to afford the apartment. It's just when you are self-employed, and this is important if you guys watching are freelancing or self-employed. If you're freelancing, self-employed, you're on a 1099, you need to have 2 years of tax documents showing the landlord that you can actually afford this apartment. And if you can't, then you're out of luck. Like, they're not going to give it to you. Another thing that you can do to beat the guarantor thing, and I know there was a law passed last year that stopped this, but you know, we're a little in a weird area with real estate, so shoot your shot. If you pay up front for the entire rent, let's say you pay for 1 year of all of your rent, you somehow have that money somewhere. You can outbid like the credit, the finances, stuff like that, or even offer to like throw 6 months. I think if you offer to throw like 6 months of rent up front, then some landlords will allow that, but it's supposedly like not allowed. So yeah, but shoot your shot, you know, right? Like, worst thing that can happen is they say no. So that was the guarantor thing. Then the third thing was I said that no one really works. And I think at the moment, I was probably like just a little frustrated and jealous of people that don't have to work. But this goes back to the sugar baby thing. There's a lot of girls in New York. A lot of them are beautiful girls, and a lot of them don't work. So, you know, I've always worked ever since I graduated college. Only had a weekend of not working after I graduated college. I started work at my 9 to 5 on Monday after I graduated college. Don't ask me why I didn't take a break. I just went straight to work. So here, yeah, there's a lot of girls that don't freaking work, and it's really annoying. And I need to like, the city needs to open so I can join some like networking clubs, you guys. Like literally, I signed up for Soho House, and the applications are frozen right now because of the panorama. So I'm really hoping that like when it opens, I can get a spot, because I think it's gonna be a great way to network with other people. And also there's this other place called The Win in New York, and it's like a females only networking place for creatives or like entrepreneurs or like just people working. And it's like kind of like a WeWork, but there's also like areas for you to collab and have meetings and like talk to each other. So if that opens up, I'm also considering going there, because I just need to meet people. I'm literally like stuck in this apartment with Brody, and like as much as I love him, look, he's like sleeping right now. Look at him. Like he's not even hardworking right now. So that's the thing. Okay, what was the next thing that... Okay, the last one, I just watched it, was you're gonna constantly feel like everyone has something more than you, and I still feel that even after where I am today. So I'm really trying really hard to live in the present moment, but it's so freaking hard when you live in New York, because this sounds so corny, but the sky is literally the limit. There's like really no cap on how successful you can be. Sorry, my dog is like drinking a water bowl and really disrupting this audio. But for instance, like when I first moved to New York, I lived in Chelsea. It was above 14th Street, so I technically wasn't downtown, but I was like still kind of downtown, and it was kind of farther away from like the scene, so like it wasn't as trendy and cool, but I made it work. Like I accepted it. And from there, I also lived in a 2-bedroom, but it was a 1-bedroom converted into a flex room. So what that means is a flex room is basically a constructed wall that did not exist before you moved in. It's basically like a fake wall. So when I moved in, my roommate had already built a professional flex wall in my room. My room was actually really big for New York, and I was happy with it. Like I had a doorman, I had an elevator. Those are really nice things in New York that most people don't have. If there's music in the background, they have musicians on my street every night. It's really cute. But yeah, so like I was really happy with it. But then I also had other friends in the city that were like maybe in professional service jobs like law or like finance. And so when I would go to their apartments, it was like gigantic. And also like everyone's in such a different point in their life right now because of my age. I'm in my late 20s. In fact, I'm turning 30 on Sunday, but don't tell talk. Like everyone thinks I'm in college there. Yeah, so yeah, like people would be like engaged, or they would be like living with their significant other, or their house would be really nice. And even though I was like really happy with where I was in my life, you're always like constantly comparing yourself to like what you don't have. And I think that's the hardest thing that I struggle with. I don't think it's a New York thing. I think it's just me, where like I'm always comparing myself to someone else. This like really sucked when I was working. I remember when I first started working my job, I was in sales, and like if someone did better than me, I would like cry. I would literally have to leave my table and cry because I'm really competitive. In fact, like even in this like little platform that we're in, like YouTube and stuff, when I first started and someone else would like grow faster than me and maybe they started behind me, or maybe they made less videos than me and they like still did better, I would get really hard with myself on that. So that would, if like I was to take a job interview, I would say that is my flaw. So that's like me thing. I don't think that's a New York thing. But with all of these videos and 5 things that I wish I knew before moving to New York City, that is just my experience. I know I am just one tiny little person out of like 14 million people that live in this island, probably less now because of the panorama. So keep that in mind. This is my experience. That doesn't mean it's yours. That doesn't mean it's everyone's experience in New York. But for someone who is from Southern California, went to college, works a 9 to 5, is pretty on her own, and decided to move to New York in her late 20s, that is my experience. And no one else is funding my life. A lot of people are saying like, oh, she needs a guarantor. No, like I didn't need a guarantor, but thanks for checking. Anyways, that is all, and stay tuned for part 3, because I'm going to break down part 3 in the next video. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of this series of 5 things I wish I knew before moving to New York City, then definitely hit subscribe and the notification bell, and I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!